Yeah, my spirit broke. From the outside looking in, I had everything. I had a six-figure income. My girlfriend was a model, and I was getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding show. My girlfriend ended up leaving me because I was just a shell of a man. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was riding the struggle bus. If I make more money, that'll fill in the voids that have been created from my heartbreak. So the next year, I got a raise at my job. I made $100,000 at 26 with no college degree. And I remember thinking to myself, nothing changed inside. So yeah, my bank account's different and I can pay for things, and that's great. And that's a privilege for sure. But internally, if anything, I feel worse and I have no idea who I am. So that was the beginning of me finding out that rock bottom unfortunately has a basement. That was the very beginning. And that was the beginning of my spirit breaking, so to speak.
Right. Rock bottom has a basement. I feel that. Yes, yeah. I feel that.
The abuse of prescription drugs by young people is on the rise, and the CSRA is not immune to this very real issue.
A lot of young people think prescription drugs are less risky because they're prescribed by a doctor. Preventing domestic violence, it is the goal of a panel comprised of some heavy hitters, in this case Attorney General, law enforcement agencies, and advocacy groups.
Hi everyone, 4 years after the abuse of Iraq, it's time to take stock. Since the war began, 3,192 U.S. troops have been killed, more than 24,000 wounded, at least 50,000 Iraqi civilians have died.
It's war.
Welcome home, everybody. This is War. We're all recovering. Some fights are loud, most are silent. Today, we're talking about the war inside and how to win it. Also, how to stop losing to the snooze button. We keep it real here.
Right. Whoever looks successful on paper and felt empty in the inside, this one's for you.
Yes. Our guest I'm super psyched about turned pain into purpose. Kevin Palmieri, co-host of Next Level University with Alan Lazaros. He went from a six-figure industrial technician to a mission-driven coach and podcaster teaching systems, discipline, and self-awareness.
Right. He says this a lot. Consistency builds confidence. Let's unpack that. Kevin, welcome to the war.
Stryker, Summertime, thank you so much for having me. I am excited, and yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Of course.
Kevin, take us to the moment you realized success without fulfillment isn't success. What broke first, your schedule, your spirit, or your story about who you were?
Spirit. Yeah, my spirit broke. From the outside looking in, I had everything. I had a six-figure income. My girlfriend was a model, and I was getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding show. So quite literally, health, wealth, and love. It seemed like I had all those things. And my girlfriend ended up leaving me because I was just a shell of a man. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was riding the struggle bus. I thought to myself, okay, well, I lost the love part. I'm going to go make a boatload I'll just make more money. If I make more money, that'll fill in the voids that have been created from my heartbreak. So the next year I got a raise at my job, and I got a promotion at my job. And I spent the next 10 months just grinding it out, traveling up and down the East Coast for work. I got to the end of that year. I made $100,000 at 26 with no college degree. And I remember thinking to myself, nothing changed inside. So yeah, my bank account's different and I can pay for things, and that's great. And that's a privilege for sure. But internally, if anything, I feel worse and I have no idea who I am. So that was the beginning of me finding out that rock bottom unfortunately has a basement. That was the very beginning. And that was the beginning of my spirit breaking, so to speak.
Right.
Rock bottom has a basement. I feel that. Yes, yeah. I feel that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like when your external wins, you feel like you're up. So what were some internal metrics that you had that we're at zero. You know, like your
Oh
sleep,
man.
peace.
Summertime, self-belief, self-worth, self-awareness, everything else. I was making money. I was in really good shape. I wasn't sleeping enough for sure, but I was young, so I didn't really worry about it too much. It was mostly the fact that I didn't want you to know how much I didn't believe in myself. If I look good, if I look successful, you won't ask. You won't ask how I'm doing inside. So I didn't have any internal metrics that I was going by. I didn't know what fulfillment was. I didn't know what purpose was. I felt like I was just making money and everything else would work itself out eventually. And if I made enough money, things would just get easy. That was kind of the thought process.
Right. I want to, are you still bodybuilding, by the way?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I got to talk to you offline about
Okay.
that. So you met Alan Lazaros around this time.
We
How
went
did you
to
two connect?
I went to school with him, Stryker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You went to, yes, you went, okay, you went to school with Alan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We went to middle school together and we were really good friends. We went to high school together and he was getting the President's Award, getting straight A's, and I was the captain of the baseball team, so we didn't get along very well.
Okay, so was it a moment in time where you guys came together and shared a vision to build a movement, this big, or did y'all share it from the beginning?
No, so I ran into him at a party when I was probably 26. I mean, this all happened at a very aligned time. I ran into him at a party. He had left his corporate job where he was making almost $200,000 a year and he was an entrepreneur.
Sure.
And I remember thinking, this dude knows some stuff. Like, I don't know how he has the answers to all these questions, but he knows some stuff. So I just started spending time around him and him and I built up a really good friendship. And when I was at the point where I was sitting on the edge of a bed contemplating suicide, he was the person that I reached out to. And after that, we had a conversation. I left my job 3 or 4 months later, and then him and I partnered up and said, hey, we both want to be positive and impactful, and we both want to essentially be the thing that we needed, which is personal development. So let's just go all in on this podcast thing. And that was 2018. So yeah, we went all in 2018.
Wow,
it's similar stories almost,
So yeah, it seems like both of you guys were already superstars coming up, jocks or brainiacs or whatever. So you guys
making big money and everything,
He was the brainiac for sure. I was the jock.
Right. That's pretty cool, man. Well, let's be honest. Who do you think, you or Alan, have more discipline about you guys' routines?
Alan. Yeah.
Alan? Okay.
I'm definitely I'm probably more disciplined than maybe 99% of people. He's exercised every day for the last 3.5 years. He doesn't miss. He's a robot. So
okay, gotcha.
I'm up against a robot Summertime. It's easy to win that one. It's hard to win that one.
Oh man, he would have did great in the Army. Great.
I believe probably. Yeah, I believe probably.
I like it.
Excellent.
Both of them sound like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shout out to you guys. I don't know. That ain't it for me. I appreciate you.
Thank you. So you've said consistency builds confidence. For someone starting from self-doubt, what's the first tiny promise they should keep today?
Ooh. Probably, and you appropriately said this, don't hit the snooze button. That's literally the first time most of us have where we have a promise that we made in the past to our future selves. And if you wake up and you hit the button and you say, nah, it's not that important, you're not starting the day off with a ton of momentum. Now, look, if you said, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow and you slept like crap and you couldn't sleep, that's a different conversation, right? So, that's a little bit different. But yeah, I would say that / make whatever the smallest promise you can that is worth keeping and do that. Because everybody, Stryker, you have a different level of self-belief than I do. Summertime, you have a different level of self-belief than I do. We should all start at different places, and that place is personal depending on what's going to be constructive to you versus maybe me at this point.
Right. Well said. Well said.
Right. Well, you all know that motivation can be loud on Monday and missing by Wednesday. It's, you got your New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year. Then come February, the motivation is dead already.
Yeah.
So what do you think keeps you moving? Like habit, loops, identity, or accountability?
All of it. Yeah, all of it.
All of
So
it. Right.
we literally in our podcast say, so we do an episode every day, seven days a week. And in the branding, we help you level up every single day. And at the end of the episode, I say, if you are as committed as you say you are to getting to the next level, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we will be here every single day to help you get there. So that's the identity piece. I am a podcaster who never misses. That's my identity. But I have a business partner, which is accountability, right?
Right.
At this point, we have a lot of people counting on us because we have a pretty large team at this point. So that's extra necessity. And I have a bunch of habits to make sure that I show up and do this every single day. So it is really a mix of all those. In the beginning, it was mostly just habits, but when you do something consistently enough, and this is one of the upsides of consistency most people don't talk about, when you do something long enough, you start to identify as that type of thing. So let's say you've smoked 4 cigarettes in your life. You're not going to say you're a smoker. You haven't done it consistently enough to identify. But if you're ripping butts every day, all day, you're probably going to identify as a smoker. And I'm not making that right, wrong, or indifferent. You do you live your life. But that is what we're talking about here from a place of consistency turning into an identity.
Okay. I like that answer.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like, and I gotta say, Kevin, I love your studio setup.
Thank you.
You know, we'll get there one day.
100%. I believe in you.
Oh, so give us your integrity audit. I wanted to hear this. You know, what does keep promises to yourself look like hour to hour?
I mean, it depends, right? Sometimes I'm crushing it and I do exactly, I cross the finish line first. And then other times I have to drag myself across the finish line to do something that I said I was going to do. It depends on the day. But what I will tell you is one of the best habits I've had, and again, this sounds pie in the sky. You can do your own version of it. But I have something where I ask myself, what would the best version of Kev do? Great example of this, Stryker. I no-showed you yesterday. I no-showed you guys yesterday. And I was talking to the team and I said, is this on us? What happened here? Did I get the wrong link? Whatever. And I said, I got to send an email because that's what the best version of me would do. I would send an email. I would take accountability and then we'd move on and hopefully we can make it happen. So it's a mixture of trying to be in alignment moment to moment, but every night we all have this. Every night when you go to bed, you put your head down on the pillow. And if you say, did I live in alignment? Did I live in integrity? Did I live as the version of myself that I aspire to be? We all have an answer. So yeah, it's a mix of the microseconds to the day. And then you want to do that weekly, you want to do that monthly, you want to do that quarterly, right? But yeah, it's a habit. It's a habit to reflect on how you showed up as a human. And that's the other thing too, is as somebody who does this a lot, I want to make sure that I'm as much me as I can be here. So when we get off, I'm going to think about it. Did I do a good job? Did I shell up? Was I arrogant? Whatever it is. So yeah, it's a habit and practice for sure.
Hey, Kevin, we appreciate that, man. You personally,
of course,
reaching out, letting us know what happened. That's taking accountability.
Of course.
Yeah, and I don't think it was on anybody. Like I was supposed to send the link earlier than I did, and for some reason on Calendly, it won't let you do Riverside. It only lets you do Zoom or some other platforms.
Yeah.
So I think it was both of us.
It might have been. Hey, it was Amazon AWS's fault. The day before that,
I like it.
Was down.
We'll blame them.
So. Yeah, we blame Steve Bezos. Okay, so hey, let's dive into what do you think is your kryptonite? Or do you have any kryptonite?
Of course I do. Superman has kryptonites. Kevin does too. What is my kryptonite? Probably comfort, right?
Mm.
I mean, my wife finished work early today and she's literally snuggling with the cats in bed. Like I want to do that.
Right.
That would be nice. I would like to do that.
That's beautiful.
But
Yeah.
that ain't it for me. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I signed up to do something in my own unique way and maybe a little bit of a different direction. So yeah, comfort is always calling. I'm not,
Okay.
I try to be very honest about this because I think a lot of people say this. I don't know if it's true for everybody. When my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm not the guy who gets pulled out of bed by the mission. That's not me. It's not the way I'm wired. I have to force myself to get up. I force myself to go to the gym. And then once I get into momentum like this is fine. I can do this all day. This is wonderful.
Right.
But I'm not the guy who I wake up ready to go every day. I want to sleep in and I want to finish work early and I want to stay up late and watch TV. But yeah, so I would say comfort. Comfort is my kryptonite. I've done a really good job at keeping it at a far enough distance where I can't get to it.
Right.
Okay. So Kevin, you mentioned y'all do shows every day. Is it full episodes or is it, do you do shorts or how do you guys do that?
Every episode, so we do only us. We don't have guests on anymore.
Oh,
is there a reason for that?
100% Stryker. Yeah, there's many reasons for that. You know how they say don't meet your heroes?
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true in a lot of ways, unfortunately.
Was it a lot of disappointment, you think, or letdowns?
There was the certain version of somebody in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Completely different version of that person once the button goes off. And
yeah,
it was that. And it's also like, if you know somebody's kind of shady and they show that to you, I do not aspire to perpetuate their message. I don't think you're a good person. I don't want you to be more successful based on not being a good person. So that was a big piece of it. Yeah. We do, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 45-minute episodes every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in it for I want to get really good at this. So while we could just do a 20-minute episode and then break it up into 7 3-minute episodes, I don't want to do that. I want to do quality, valuable work. I want to get better. And I love this. So if I could do a 3-hour episode every day, I would. I don't have time to do that anymore, unfortunately, but I love this. This is the thing that fulfills me so much. So that's a big piece of it too.
Okay. That's so cool because yesterday we actually did a short about who you are on and off camera. Right, Summertime? We actually did that short yesterday.
Nice.
We do shorts every day, and then we do a full episode, about 45 to 60 minutes on every Thursday.
Okay.
So, that's how we're doing it right now. But we'll get to the point where, we trying to do full episodes every day too.
And we're on 2 different sides of the country right now. So, I'm here in Michigan and he's in San Diego. So, yeah. So we're trying to work. Yeah, we're trying to work the time zone thing.
And Kevin, you're Eastern time zone, right?
I'm Eastern, and then Alan, my business partner, lives like an hour south of me. So we're both in this. At least we're in the same time zone. That makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So, was there a moment you almost walked away from Next Level University?
No.
And what pulled you back?
No.
You did. No.
Nope. You are both probably large, capable men. You're not taking this from me. This is my baby. This is my baby. I love this. I've dedicated my life to this. Did I have moments where I doubted whether or not I could be successful? Yes. So many. All of the moments. I doubted that I could even be successful at this. But when I started this, it literally was, I have to find a way to make enough money to get to the end of the day. And then it was, I got to find a way to make enough money to get to the end of the week, to the end of the month, to the end of the year. I was convinced if I could find a way to succeed at this, it would be so worth it. I can't imagine doing anything else. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. When I left my job and I told my mom and grandmother that, they said, "You're going to go get another job." I said, I will never work for somebody else as long as I live. I'm dedicating my life to this and I'm going to find a way. So I didn't think I'd be successful, but I never doubted whether or not I wanted this, at least.
I love that.
That's beautiful, man.
I appreciate
Dedication, bro.
I know Summertime is going to throw that in my face later.
it.
Kevin, I'm always ready to cut it off with him. I'm like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's different, right? It's different. I started this because I needed, like, this is what I needed this. I needed something that was going to force me to improve as a human being. And I would not be the man I am today without the podcast, for sure. So this was a requirement. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that, because I think me and my brother here, we needed this as well. You know, we've been through a lot in our lives and in the military, and you know, we didn't know how to, open up and talk about it, until after we were out. But life hit us hard once we got out, and we're trying to ground ourselves now, and we even, like he said, we fell out for some years, man. And I think him coming back into my life was, because he considered him my best friend, like, out of anybody, and even some of my childhood friends. So, and after we get out the service, we actually lived together for a while. So, I think us reconnecting, man, and us doing this is really helping us internally and externally. You know what I'm saying? So
I do. I love it. I love it. We had a mentor who said, what you create creates you. What you create in the world is creating you, whether or not you know it. And yeah, his name's Anthony Trucks. Anthony Trucks. Reach out to him. He'd be a great guest. Great dude.
Okay, Anthony Trucks. Write that down, Summertime.
Okay, I got you.
I recall that I was working at the Pentagon and ready to retire. This is the late summer of 2019. So I was sent over to one of the Army bases in DC for a mental health screening prior to retirement. When I was, and I was preparing to retire shortly thereafter. And my goal then was to continue my service as a contractor, whether it be Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, wherever the next war was, the contingency operations, whatever. I'm making a lot of money and just continuing on with my involvement there. When I got to the mental health screening, I talked with an Army psychiatrist, and in the midst of our conversation, he mentioned God, and I felt like electricity run through my body, and the Holy Spirit touched my heart.
All right. So here we say the hardest battles are private. What does your internal war look like today? Ego versus service, comparison, imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome is one for sure. Less than ever, but that's a piece of it. I think what it is now is kind of feeling misunderstood, right? Like I feel very understood with you guys because you're podcasters, right? You get it. But when I meet someone and they say, like, what are you doing this for? It's like, I want to have the most success company ever. Just that. But I understand how wonky that is. And right. I understand how pie in the sky that is. And it's hard at times because that does force me to live life a little bit differently, right? Like, I was having a conversation with my wife today. We're recording this on a Friday. I have so much work I need to get done tomorrow on Saturday. I'll probably wake up at 4 a.m. just because I have to in order to get what I need to get done. I know that's not going to seem maybe the most understanded or supported or whatever. So that I have a very, very small circle for a reason, because I understand this, what I'm trying to do is not for a lot of people. And it's probably pretty hard being in my life as somebody who's just not super accessible and very focused on this. So yeah, I think sometimes I feel misunderstood in that, I would say.
Right. And well, obviously you appreciate your wife for dealing with your, all the stuff you.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah, we do.
She's ride or die summertime.
Yes,
She's
it's hard to find those.
yeah. When we first, so we actually dated back in the day, like 2000. I don't know. She'd know the year better than I. But when we reconnected and started dating again, I was broke.
Right.
Broke. And then when we really started dating and we became more serious and we started living together, I couldn't pay for rent. I couldn't pay for groceries. I couldn't get Christmas presents. So yeah, she's a ride or die for sure.
Yes, yes.
Right. That's good, man. I think we all been there with our significant others.
100%.
One or another. So, what's one tool that you use when the noise gets loud? Do you use, when you're feeling like you're about to, just have too much? Use breathing techniques or journaling or
the gym.
Okay,
Gym.
Yeah, I use the gym and music. Those are the kind of the two. Is I'll sit 3, the gym, music, and reflection. I look back on old episodes to see how far this journey has actually taken me. And it's one of the most humbling. I do this too when I'm like, I feel like I'm crushing life. I'll look back, Kev, remember, you got a ways to go, brother. I know you're feeling yourself right now, and that's good. It's good to feel yourself. But do not lose sight of the fact that you thought you were good 500 episodes in, and you were not that good. So please stay grounded, sir. So that's one. The gym, I notice a difference in my state on a day where I go to the gym and versus a day where I don't, for sure. It's so noticeable. And then music. I had a rough day, I don't know, a few months ago. And I was cooking dinner. I was having ground beef and rice or whatever I was having. And you know the song Rooster by Alice in Chains? You know that song? It's a jam. It's dark. It's dark.
Okay.
Rooster. Yeah.
Okay, I got to look that up.
Don't do it if you're in a bad mood. Dude, you got to be riding high if you want to listen. This is a heavy song. But one of the lines in it is, they haven't found a way to kill me yet. And I like that. I feel like sometimes the weight of the world gets heavy and I feel like things are being thrown at me, but that's a reminder of, look, you're still here. You're still going. That's a specific song I go to for sure.
Rooster by Alice in Chains.
Yes.
Remember that, Frank.
Okay.
It's a good one.
That's by the way, that's his nickname. Frankie. Yeah, he's part Italian. So we had this joke in Kuwait. It just came out of nowhere that he looked like Frank Sinatra. So we started calling him Frankie, baby. And it kind of like stuck with him.
Yeah, I hated it at first, man. I was like, man, my name ain't no Frank, man. I need to chill out with that. But every time I come in, they be like, Frankie, baby, how the hell are y'all? Sit right here,
so, for someone, who's watching right now, who feels too far gone, give them the first step on the ladder. The first step on the ladder, one thought and one action.
You already had the thought. You're reflecting. The fact that you think you're too far gone suggests to me that you're not, because you're conscious of the fact that you're not where you want to get to. So that's part one. Part two, I mean, there's a bunch of places we can go. We can reach out to someone. That it might be go for a walk. A lot of us, myself included, we make very emotional. We make very long-term decisions based on short-term emotion. You'd be blown away by how much going for a 20-minute walk can do to change your state. So that might be it. It might be write down 5 things you're grateful for. Could be that. It could be go to the gym. It could be put on a song that inspires you. It could be reach out to a friend that inspires you. It could be any of those things. But even the fact that you're conscious enough to know that you don't feel like you're where you want to be, that to me is a suggestion that you're ready to go. And I would just say, make sure whatever the step is it's small and it's sustainable. We said this at the top. The reason New Year's resolutions don't work is because they're too big. You're not going to go from not going to the gym at all to losing 75 pounds in 3 months. That's just not realistic, and it's not. Yeah, it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable for most people. So we have to make the goals, we have to make the habits, we have to make the things that we're doing sustainable, because if it's not sustainable, it's not going to stick. And if it's not going to stick, it's not going to work.
Right. So what do you think, you would tell somebody, or how do you handle sitting in discomfort without self-destructing? Because, when life gets heavy, we joke, we try to joke and laugh it off, but it's real, So, how do you sit with discomfort without self-destructing?
Yeah. I don't know if I have a really good answer, because so one of the biggest struggles of this journey for me has been I'm trying to keep up with Alan. And
okay.
Alan is he's
motivated.
100%. And he's a specimen. I mean, he's incredibly intelligent. I've never seen anybody work as hard as him, ever. It's not close. And he just never stops. It just, every single day just keeps going somehow. I don't get it.
That's how this guy is.
So you guys would get along. Two peas in a pod. Two peas in a pod. But trying to keep up with that when you're not wired that way. I mean, I have gotten truths that I wasn't ready for. I've gotten awarenesses that I wasn't ready for. This is the best answer I can give. One, living in delusion never did anything good for me. So when I get a truth that I don't want, that probably is true, I try to sit with it and say, look, the upside of me knowing this is the truth far outweighs me going through life thinking ignorance is bliss. That's one. And then two, I have a very firm belief that it will be worth it to know. I think it will be worth it because I'll be able to do something with it. I was a guest on a podcast recently, and we were talking about how I'm 5'4" on a good day. Kind of sucks. It kind of sucks, right? And people will be like, no, it's not. It sucks. What do you want me to tell you? There's, women like a certain height man. Fine. I completely understand that. I'm not going to villainize the woman. That is an unfortunate potential truth that I must sift through. Now, luckily, my wife doesn't care. She's like an inch taller than me. She's beautiful. Cool. I won. Awesome. It's good. It's good. It worked out. But I just think so many of us run away from our insecurities and pretend they don't exist. And sometimes those insecurities are somebody saying, hey, you kind of talk like a truck driver around the kids. Like, why don't we, let's button that up a little bit. That hurts to hear, but that person's telling you because they care. They're telling you because they want you to get to the goals that you've set. So yeah, it's a mix, but in the beginning, the best answer I have, Summertime, is in the beginning, I didn't have a choice. That this is what I signed up for. Now I can spin it in a positive way. And I think living under delusion is not going to do me any favors. And I think the truth, for me at least, is worth it.
Oh man, you're funny, by the way.
It's true. It's true.
All right, Kevin, let's go tactical for a minute. Walk us through your daily system. Morning to night, the anchors you won't skip.
Alarm goes off at 6, go into the kitchen, take my pre-workout, bada bing, bada boom. I'm at the gym by 6:30. I always listen to a book on Audible on the way to the gym. It's only like 7 minutes away, but I always listen to a book. Whatever it is, arms, legs, chest, shoulders, back, whatever day it is, like at the old bodybuilder split. I come back and then I'm straight into the office. So I get back at 7:45 usually. I come check my messages, check my emails, check WhatsApp, shower. And then from there, I'm literally in the office from that time until 6 p.m. usually during the week. But I have habits throughout the day. So every day I learn for 30 minutes. Every day I batch my emails. I batch my WhatsApp. Every day I post in our Facebook group. Every day I follow up with clients. So every day I have habits. One of my habits is kitchen man. I'm responsible to keep the kitchen clean in our house because my wife hates it more than I do. Cool. I'm going to do my best to do that. We have something we call the gratitude game. So every night before we go to bed, my wife and I each say one thing we're grateful for about one another. It's a good one. That's a good one. It's easy too. Like, we're 30 seconds. You don't have to write out a novel. 30 seconds. I'm grateful that you, whatever. I'm grateful that we, whatever it is. But yeah, it's it's very regimented and then it's micro regiments. So my life is very boring, quote unquote, because I do the same things every day, but I'm a certainty driven human being. So I like doing the same thing every day. This is like my dream. I get to do the same thing. I don't have to worry about thinking too much. But yeah, it's a lot of the personal development habits, right? Exercise, try to get enough sleep. You'll never see me without water. I always have water near me to try to stay hydrated. So yeah, just simple stuff. Nothing too complex. I'm a very simple creature.
Yeah, I noticed you like the mason jars. I watched a couple of your episodes, and
I only like them because I don't care that they're glass. I just like them because they're big.
yeah, I love a good mason jar myself.
Why is that, Summertime? Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. It just reminds me of comfort, like my grandmother. Just old school, man.
I dig it.
So, Kevin, is there any anchors that you will, give up or that you won't skip?
The podcast. Yeah, I will not miss we haven't missed the podcast. We've done an episode every day for the last 4 years. That's an absolute non-negotiable. But I take days off from the gym. I mean, I lift heavy. I'm beating my body up. I don't want to do it every day, really.
Yeah.
So that's my wife has a walking desk, so I could probably walk on that if I wanted to and get exercise every day. But I don't know. It's not the same as bodybuilding for me. I couldn't tell you the last time we missed the nightly gratitude. We do that. I couldn't tell you the last time. So probably that. I mean, it's the podcast and nightly gratitudes. Okay. Outside of that, things ebb and flow. I had a day last week where I went to bed at 9:00 and I had to wake up at 1:00 in the morning to check on a project that was getting done. And I didn't go to the gym that day because I was exhausted.
Right.
I'm trying to balance getting as much as I can done with getting as much fitness as I can done. So yeah, I would say those are probably the pillars.
Right. So you don't get.
My bad, Summertime. Can I ask Kevin something real quick before I forget?
Go ahead, man.
Well, not ask. It's a statement towards the gratitude game you and your wife played.
Yeah.
I learned that in PTSD therapy is part of this peers communication with relationships. It teaches you how to, the certain things you should do with your partner. And that's actually one of them.
Nice.
The gratitude game.
Okay.
And it actually helped me a lot doing that. I fell off after about 2 or 3 weeks, but the 2 or 3 weeks I was doing it, letting her know, exactly what I, loved about her, what I appreciated. It worked in our relationship a lot.
Yeah. It's a game changer. Another one that's really good, but it is potentially hard to keep up with. Every Sunday, and we've been messing this up, so I can't say we've done it, but we used to have a weekly check-in where we would sit down and it would just be, all right, what went well last week?
Yes.
Same thing, right?
Same thing.
Yep. Yeah. Same idea. All it really is it allows you to be proactive as opposed to getting 6 months down the road and saying, hey, we need to talk. We already know we're going to talk, so we can save it for when we talk. That's a big one for sure.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, no, what I was trying to say, I said that's good that you won't miss the podcast and the thing you and your wife do at the end of the day.
Yep.
So in between that, if anything happens, you're fine with that. You can adjust fire, if anything else happens. So that's good. That's awesome, actually.
I appreciate it.
Where do you think most people overcomplicate change? If you could delete one excuse from the human brain, what do you think that would be?
Wow, I gotta hear this.
That's a rough one. Again, easy for me to say. I don't have kids. I make my own schedule. I work from home, right? I'm going to preface and disclaim with that, but I don't have enough time. I think I have very little time, but one of the things that shifted for me is when I said it's not as big a priority. So if you have kids and you want to spend 3 hours a night with your kids, that's going to cut into your gym time. Totally fine. Just say, I would rather spend time with my kids. That's fine. I just don't want to live under delusion. So it would probably be that, or the other excuse is, well, that takes too long. I would start a podcast and do this, but I don't want to wait. It's going to take too long. It has to happen immediately. It's like, okay, that's not life. That's not real. That doesn't happen with anything. So that it would be, I don't have the time and that's going to take me too long to accomplish. Those would probably be the two.
Thank you for that answer, man.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, I was waiting. I like that. Okay.
I understand. Not a like easy for him to say he doesn't have kids. I understand. I'm not saying that I am the gold standard in that by any stretch of the imagination. I just think a lot of it is perspective. A lot of it is like when people say we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We don't. Because we have different circumstances. Like it's not the same.
Right.
We all have 24 hours in a day, but we don't have the same 24 hours because we have priorities that we need to deploy energy towards. So I'm not blanket statement saying like, well, you guys have the same time I do. You could do. No, it's not that. That's
right.
I think that's just understated and oversimplified.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, sir.
Of course.
Okay. All right. So tie discipline to recovery for us. How is structure not a prison, but freedom?
Ooh. 5 years from today, all of our lives are going to look different. It's either going to look different by design or by accident. That is why structure is freedom. Because in 5 years, you might have all the quote unquote, have lived with all the freedom, just doing whatever you want. But in 5 years, the quality of doing what you want might not be super high. So it's really that. You can either pay now and play later, or you can play now and pay later. And we all know somebody that they go on vacation 4 times a year and they have a nice car and they have this and they have this and they have this, but they're struggling behind the scenes, but they look like they're crushing it. They're playing. But we also might know somebody who drives, an old beat up car and they live in an okay place, but they're stacking money and they're sacrificing. So what seems constricting, what seems concrete is forcing you to develop the type of skills that will pay off forever. And if it was easy to be successful and if it was easy to be disciplined, all of us would do it and it wouldn't serve the same purpose it does. But that is the great differentiator. The differentiator is usually the people who are able to stick to a system, measure the system, and then do that system consistently. They're usually pretty successful because it compounds over time. So yeah, I was in the same boat. In the beginning, when I started tracking habits, I remember thinking, this is terrible. This is the dumbest thing ever. I hate this. Now it gives you so much certainty. So last thought on that. Would you rather be uncertain of what to do, but certain it'll feel good? Or would you rather be certain of what to do, knowing that it might not feel that great? I'd pick the second one because I think the future will be brighter because of that.
Yeah. Yes. Man, you have all the answers, man.
I do not, Stryker. I do not. I have some answers. Some.
I need your cell phone after this.
I got you.
For real.
Hey, no, for some of the overachievers, what do you think is like a habit or something they should remove this week to get some instant clarity?
Oof. That's a tough one. That's a blanket statement. Honestly, it's probably running from whatever you're running from. It would be that. Take one of the incredible habits that you're practicing to gain success and take that 15 or 20 minutes and practice reflection. I think that's many high achievers. They are such high achievers because they're running from what they were afraid of when they were younger, right? So just having that awareness, I think, is super helpful. And then honestly, for a lot of high achievers, they're not super good at relationships. So I would say take 20 minutes out of your day to either spend time with your family or spend time with your partner or spend time with yourself, because high achievers are usually really good in the external world. Right. That's only half the equation. There's relationships and inner world as well. So yeah, pivot that. One of the hardest things about this journey is we like to do what we're good at. So we go to the gym See a bunch of people on Monday, bench pressing. Whoop, whoop. Friday, not a lot of people in the squat rack. There's just not a lot of people in the squat rack.
I noticed that about the gym though. Monday through Wednesday, you see the same folks, and then come that weekend about to hit, it's like
slows down.
No more. Yeah,
it slows down.
It's crazy
because it sucks on the weekend.
Yeah, you got your Friday plans.
Yeah,
you got other stuff to do.
That and I think people tend to do what they like. So there's the old joke in the bodybuilding community of somebody who's like really big up top and has these little stick legs.
My God.
I'm not saying that to make fun. I'm not making fun. But what a lot of people do is they skip the thing that's hard. So I'm really good at something. I'm only going to do something. As a high achiever, your strength and your opportunity for growth is probably in the thing that you suck at, as much as it is just getting better at the thing you're already really good at.
Kevin, that is hilarious, right? I got a quick joke real quick.
Please.
My first sergeant, I went to his office one day, and I was into all the lifting weights and everything, but would never do my legs. And he was like, "Stryker," he said, "Look at you looking like a drumstick." And it took me a minute for it to register. And I was like, well, how does a drumstick look? Why did he say that? And then I realized the drumstick is big and on top is small at the bottom. So yeah, that's why I said, oh my God, when you said that.
Look, that is a thing in the bodybuilding space, right? Because doing legs kind of sucks. It's just brutal and it's hard and it's exhausting and it's just easier to go hit arms every day. Just hit arms.
Right. Kevin, man. Well, go ahead, Summertime. You was about to say something?
Oh, no.
Okay. You was licking your lips and doing Kevin, this was surgical, man. This was surgical, and you're a big inspiration. Right. Just hearing your story, I could see my story and Summertime's story and your growth and everything from where you was and where you're at now and everything. And I just think this was surgical and honest, usable, life ready. Tell the people where they can find you.
First of all, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it very much. The podcast is called Next Level University. It's on all the podcast platforms. It's on YouTube and all that happy jazz. Please do not stop listening to these fine gentlemen. Make sure you listen to our stuff after you listen to theirs. So I want to make sure that you stay in the community that has been built here so wonderfully for you. But yeah, that's the best place.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll drop the links in the description and everything.
Thank you.
What's Summertime? What?
I was about to ask our guests final line, Kevin, for somebody who thinks discipline is not their personality. What would you say to them?
You
think?
That's a good one. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's not your personality yet. And it may never be your personality. It's probably going to get to a point where it's something that you practice more and more and more, and you may never self-identify as somebody who is super disciplined or super regimented. But just because you don't identify as it and you don't feel like you are it does not mean there are not benefits to it, right? We're all a work in progress. We're all working towards something. I'm a podcaster. Okay, but am I more of a podcaster than I was at the beginning? I don't know. Maybe. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. But at the beginning, it takes a certain amount of time before you actually feel like you are that thing. So yeah, it might take time and you may never get to the place where you fully identify, but it does not mean you will not get benefits in the process of moving towards that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Palmieri. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today.
Thank you.
Family, take the first step today. One small promise, keep it. And remember, always stay sturdy because
stay sturdy, y'all.
Recovering.
That's right.
The invasion of Iraq is a good time to take stock. Since the war began, 3,192 U.S. troops have been killed, more than 24,000 wounded, at least 50,000 Iraqi civilians have died.
It's war.